Hello. Welcome to
Hello.
the chat for Big Bad Me, which was our November Y Book Club pick. As always, I couldn't read a vampire book and not invite Amanda and Claire from Fictional Hangovers, so I'm joined by my two lovely friends to talk about this book. I nearly said what I thought of the book. I'm not going to spoil it right now, what my opinions are. I'm sure you can probably already guess you too. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, people in the comments. I feel that there's been a lot of love for this book this month, so I'm excited to get into chatting about it. Kev, as usual, is going to post in the comments, probably as me, just to confuse matters. There are some giveaways to announce from last month's book, which was Every Exquisite Thing. And Ashlyn has run a lovely giveaway this month where 3 people can win some goodie packs, which have hot chocolate in. If you've read the book, you know. And some nice signed things from Ashlyn and some postcards and bookmarks and things like that. So let's start by introducing ourselves. Probably people know who I am. I'm McCaw, the author of the Mina books and the person who runs this YouTube channel, I guess. So you can find me here, TikTok, all the social media. And of course, you two, I always feel like I introduce you as a pair, but do you want to introduce yourselves separately, kind of in tandem, whatever you normally do? Do you want to start, Amanda, and introduce yourself and the podcast, and we'll jump to Claire?
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda from Fictional Hangover Podcast. We've been here 1,000 times. You probably know us by now. Today I am wearing werewolf fangs and a werewolf hand, so I'm hoping that I don't have any mishaps.
Just body parts and teeth falling out as after the thing goes on. I think that's fairly fine. You have one working hand. So all is well. Oh dear. I feel like we're gonna Claire and I are just gonna try and make you laugh as this thing goes on to see what we can make you laugh.
I love it.
At this point. And Claire's just gonna try and kill you with her stake. So I mean, can a stake kill a werewolf? I don't know. You could try it.
Yeah, we can see what happens.
I don't think so. The journey to go kill Amanda would kill me.
I'm pretty sure I could rip somebody's head off
back.
today.
It'll be for science.
Do you know what? I got some excellent comments on Mina and the Cult. Ren James, who edits my book, is also like a doctor of some very clever kind of science, and she always asks the really scientific questions about vampires. And this one was, I was describing food, and she was like, could the vampires just blend this food and like have it in liquid form? And I was like, oh my god, you've just wrecked my whole day trying to think about whether vampires can consume liquids. So I'm sure this discussion can go in some weird places, very much like that. We're going to talk all things Big Bad Me. Let's see who is in the comments, and then we will dive straight into the book discussion. You may see some random passing Kevs, I feel like, as well. People are expect Amanda and Claire, and they expect Kev cameos as well. He is wearing Moose pajamas, so look out for those as the evening goes on. Hi, Stephen. I need to read those. I got the first book in that series signed at Yelk, and I have not a chance because I've hardly read anything since November. I've been editing. Oh, thank you. Hope you're enjoying it. Hi, Sharon. Hello, Melina. I'm really sorry. I need to check with you at some point. I think it's Melina, how I pronounce that. I always have pronunciation doubt. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Kirsty. It is such a fun book. I think that fun is the key adjective to describe this book. I'm interested to hear what you two have to say about it, because I've not listened to the podcast yet. So it's like fully no spoilers of what your thoughts are on this one so far.
Oh, that's going to be exciting.
Hello. Yeah, I mean, I did reread this one. I don't always, because Every Exquisite Thing, I'd read it the previous month, and I thought I can't justify reading something like 2 weeks later. Right, I think that's catching up with all the hellos. So let's get to it. What did we think of the book? I feel like I can guess what you two are going to thought of this one, but yeah, I'll pretend to be surprised. Claire, do you want to start? What did you think of this one?
I'm quite sure I declared this as one of my books of 2022. So if that doesn't tell you exactly what I think of the book, then nothing. I'll come out and stake you. Threatening. Yeah, I absolutely adored it. I absolutely just ate it up. Pun intended. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
What is it about it for you? Like, what was the main thing that made you love it, do you think?
It was fun. It was pop culture. It was Buffy feels without being Buffy. It was an interesting take on the vampire genre as well. It had some of the bits and pieces that we absolutely adore in Fiction Hangover about vampires that aren't always done. The counting.
Genius. I loved that. I don't think I've ever read it in a YA book. I was like, yes, this is so fun.
Yeah, and it was just delightful in every single way. It was one of those where you could just get lost for a few hours and just really enjoy the ride.
Yes, agreed. How about you, Amanda? Anything to add to that?
Yes. This book actually meant a lot to me because the main character has diabetes, or diabetes in quotes. And again, I can't do quotes with my werewolf hand, but
I'll do them for you. There you go.
Thank you. She has diabetes, and I have diabetes, and I've only read maybe like 3 books that feature a character with diabetes in my entire life. And it meant so much to me, even though it was fake. I loved it. I loved it so much. And then you throw vampires in and all of the sarcasm, and it was completely ridiculous. And I just loved it.
Yeah, I read this one almost in tandem with 16 Souls because I was reading, I don't remember which way around it was, but I think I read the ebook of Big Bad Me and then the physical proof of 16 Souls. And I always have like a physical book and ebooks on the go at the same time. And it struck me how both of them, but particularly Big Bad Me, just feel so different. Like it feels really fresh. Like you can't compare it. You can compare it to Buffy and you can probably compare it to Mina and a little bit to 16 Souls, but like, it just felt new and different. And I love that because I read so much YA as you two do. I think we get quite familiar, don't we, with some of the structures and the kind of the tropes we're going to come across. And this one just felt like fresh and different and fun, which I really liked. Let's see what the people in the comments are saying. Hi, Carl. Thank you for coming on. Yes, snappy, spiky writing is exactly what Ashlyn does. Dialogue is great. Baddie's great, and joy. I think you've just summarized that perfectly, Sharon. I don't know if I haven't written a physical. I think I have reviewed this. I was going to say if I haven't reviewed it, that would be the perfect way to go on and do it. Oh, these are so nice. I feel like Ashlyn, if she needs a boost, needs to go and watch this episode afterwards. I always say to authors, don't watch the live things, just let people talk freely about the books. But this one, I think Ashlyn could probably go back and watch. Very, very true. It is. Yeah, I mean, you always have good like mouth and hand and costume. The hand particularly is good tonight.
It's very furry too.
Very different hand if you like bored of the discussion. It's all good. So a couple of people have mentioned characters, and I feel that is probably where I'd like to delve into this one. Obviously, it has the dual narrator thing going on, and then it has lots of minor characters. Kind of a 2-part question. What did you think of the dual narrators, and did you have a favourite one? And then what did you think of the characters in general? Amanda, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I love books with multiple points of view. I like it because you can get both sides of what's going on. So normally, if you're reading a single POV, you're thinking, like, you're yelling at the main character, I know what's going on. Why haven't you figured this out? But then when you have multiple POVs, you can see what the other characters, as I punch my microphone with my regular hand, you can see what the other characters are thinking and how they're reacting. So I love a multiple POV. But my favorite character in this one was Kevin. 1,000 times Kevin, because he was just the best little nerdy little vampire, and I love him.
Is adorkable a word? Because I feel like he's adorkable.
Yes.
Not it is now. Yes. Love him.
And I love that he's called Kevin too. Like Kevin and Perry was the only thing growing up I remember there being a Kevin in, and it wasn't the best. So it's nice for there to be like a kind of interesting Kevin character to read, and like, oh, that's my Kevin. My Kevin isn't a vampire though. Slight spoiler alert. Yes, completely agreed. Sorry, I got slightly distracted by the flailing hand, but yes.
I'm sorry. At least it wasn't my teeth.
Yeah, and the werewolf hand's still there too. So, it was the human hand that was causing difficulties.
I know.
Yeah, I enjoy a multiple POV too, but I have to say, if it isn't done well and the voices are too similar, I find it worse than a single POV, if that makes sense. Like, I'd prefer a well done single to a not so well done multiple. But I think when the voices are really distinct, and as you said, you get to see the different dimensions, like there's a good reason, because they are apart for parts of it and then they're together for parts of it. It's a good reason for it to be multiple. How about you, Claire? What are your thoughts on multiple POVs and then the character in this one in general?
I completely agree with multiple POVs. There have to be just voices. But I really enjoyed it when we had Evie being so naive and dumb. I love it. I love them both. I love all the characters in this. But when she's like, "Oh, I had diabetes and there's nothing wrong with me," and blah blah blah, and it's like, no, love, you've been lied to. She's just so deliciously naive and cute with it, and it's like you want to shake her a little bit and just come on, you need to see the reality of the situation that's going around. And I really enjoyed Kate trying to be this badass but also angsty older sister who is just a genuine, like a real human being, just trying to get through life. And it's nice having that dichotomy and seeing the two sisters. They are two very distinct voices, so it works absolutely lovely. But yeah, I'm with Amanda. Kevin is the adorable hero in the entire book. You're cheering on him on the entire time. So yeah, I'll stab you, Kevin. I'll practice stab you. That's fine. And then I'll have a nice hot chocolate with you, because you know he makes a good hot chocolate all the way through. But I did enjoy the side characters as well. Like Zoe was just, you kind of like, come on, Kate, come on. Zoe fancies the pants off you. Can you please just smooch her? She's like, you see movies and TV shows, and you can see them like start to hook her up and be like, it's like that's what Zoe's doing the entire time. It's like, will you please, Kate, just go and kiss her, please?
That's all we want.
I love it. That's all we want. We're not the biggest romance, people of fiction hangover. I like a romance, but when we just want to see two lovely ladies in love, God, we're rooting for them. We're in their corner. I loved it.
Especially when one of them's like a sexy badass slayer too. Like that, just extra joy.
Yeah. And even Felix, like, as a minor character, I really enjoyed Felix. And it just, by the end, when it does the whole 2 months later, and they're in it's the Scooby Gang. Ashland really has given us a modern day Scooby Gang, and it's wonderful. So as much as Kevin stands out to me as a fantastic character, and I love the point of views of Evie and Kate, I need them all together. I need that dynamic to happen, because it's just fun. It's just a party.
And I think that's the best kind of book, isn't it? Where you're not waiting for a character that you actually like to get on page and like kind of reading fast to get through. Like you kind of, when you can appreciate them all and they're all their own distinct people, I think that's really good. Let's see what the people in the comments think, and then we'll go to the next question. Oh, lots of Kevin love. Every time I see that, I'm like happy because I feel like it's my Kevin. Like everybody's giving my Kevin love.
Your Kevin is pretty great too. We like him.
He is. And he's
I can imagine your Kevin making a good hot chocolate.
He does, actually. He does. He does not add the extra ingredient. This is a spoiler discussion by everyone, by the way, everyone, if I haven't said that already. So I'm going to say blood. My Kevin does not put blood in his chocolate. I'm quite glad about that. We haven't sadly got to that stage where I'm a vampire yet. I'm working on it, but it's been slow progress. Yes, it is. I love sibling relationships on the page. I really do. And the kind of friend fraught family thing that siblings often have. It felt very realistic and believable. I think I just said relievable. Oh dear. I'm quite tired. I am on like final
dictionary has been created tonight. I love it.
It's very relievable.
I've been watching a lot of Bluey lately, and there's this bit where one of the characters says "trifficult" because she's trying to say tricky and difficult, and I kind of like it more than both of the words. I want to introduce it to the English language. Trifficult. It just says it all, doesn't it?
Do I need to admit that my son's too old for Bluey yet? I've watched all of it by myself.
I don't think that's bad. I think Bluffy Bluey is really, really good. Like, there's bits where it makes me cry, it makes me laugh. I love how the parent, this is a whole separate discussion. I could do a whole live stream about Bluey, but it's so relatable. A blue and an orange dog are just super relatable parents. Like, there's a bit where the kid gets in the bed between them and is like all elbows and knees, and Kevin and I just sat there like, oh, Nathan doesn't even know that's him. Yes, double POV is definitely a good thing. We're referring back to that if it's done well. Yes, I think that is one of the things about this book. I think the dialogue, as somebody mentioned earlier, is absolutely spot on. And I think the character dynamics were one of the best things for me. But there's a very clear split in this book between characters. We have slayers, we have werewolves, and we have vampires. So I want to know, are we sticking to our all vampires all the time thing? Because I have to say, I really liked the werewolves. Like, I normally don't prefer werewolves. I did message Ashlyn, like, you're giving me some confusion here because I've always been vampires all the way through Twilight. I haven't changed my mind no matter how hot Jacob gets as the films go on. I stayed vampires, but this book confused me. Like, I did like the werewolves, I think, over the vampires, mainly because the vampires were baddies and like not the sexy kind, like the Spike and Damon kind. They were like proper baddies, some of them. How about you, Claire? Vampires, werewolves, slayers, where do we fall in this world?
Vampire slayer.
I know.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's my answer. I appreciate the werewolf, don't get me wrong, and I really do. But let's face it, we've only met one clan of bad vampires led by an asshole, let's face it, who's going to, indoctrinate the people into his sadistic way of living. And we've only really seen Evie and the stalker guy, and like, that's two very different people. Kevin is a lovely vampire, but he's also a vampire hunter.
And he's also a werewolf.
Yes, now he's a werewolf, which is even more confusing. So we've got vampire, werewolf hunter. It's confusing.
Yeah, I don't know the word order of that. Like, there's a lot going on there. But maybe that's actually the correct answer. Maybe the correct answer is just the character that's all of them. Like, is the winner.
Yes, that's why Kevin's the best. He's everything. He's everything we ever wanted and more.
Is that your answer, Amanda? Like, the combo is the perfect? Or did
of course.
A lean in either direction?
I mean, I always have to say all vampires all the time, but this book did, like you said, Amy, it made me question things. Like, I'm not supposed to love a werewolf so much. But I think maybe it's the diabetes that makes me love Evie as much as I do. The fake the diabetes. Let me get my hands back in. There's the diabetes that I love so much. But no,
I'm trying to do this.
I know. I was trying to do a thumbs up earlier, and it was also really bad. Like, what is happening right now?
It's just terrible. The weirdest.
No, but I do always love a vampire. But this time, I felt myself falling in love with the werewolf a little bit. It's rare.
I think paranormal books, like a lot of them, especially YA books, they're about the paranormal things, but they also kind of represent being a teenager, don't they? And going through changes and going through like a difficult point in your life, going through your teens is like finding out you're some sort of supernatural creature. And your body doesn't feel like yours and like it's changing all the time. So maybe it's that, like, you find the character that you really relate to in it. And I think I did relate, probably like Claire said, the naive, like that's how I'd be, I think, in a supernatural world. Despite the vampire books I've read, I'd be like, what? No, I've just got really weird symptom-free diabetes. It's fine. Like, nobody's lying to me. I'm not a werewolf.
I have a completely ungoogleable form of diabetes. It's totally fine. I have to take medicine that my mom made in the basement. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. That hasn't gone through clinical testing and regulation at all. That's fine.
No, it's fine.
I think as a child, I would have totally accepted that. Like, fake mum medicine, fine. Yeah, cool.
Sure.
But I'm sorry, but Evie's at the age where she should be questioning these things.
Yeah, she is. To be fair, she's past the age where I was completely naive. Were vamps, I think. where vampire slayers should be is like the pinnacle, isn't it? What was it that did werewolves? I feel like that's the thing.
Underworld. And Underworld, they had the vampire, the werewolves, and then they had Michael, who turned into werewolf, and it was rubbish. It was so bad. The only good thing was Kate Beckinsale wearing very thin outfits.
Yeah.
That was a selling point.
It so much, and I really, that one sailed spectacularly past the mark for me. But yes, Little Hearts. I'm assuming that's to do with all of our werewolf vampire discussion. So let me check. I feel like there are many other things I wanted to ask you. I'm going to have to consult the list because, as usual, we've gone off in. Oh yes. So I wanted to talk about the writing a little bit. We've kind of touched on Aislinn's writing, and I just think that you read certain books and they feel really easy and moorish to read, where like nothing pulls you out of the narrative, nothing's clunky, it just kind of flows really well. That's how I feel reading that book. Like, what did you think of it, Claire? Did you vibe with the writing style?
Completely. It was just 100% accessible. It felt very natural. I was talking about another book that I'm currently reading with my son at the moment, and I was saying to my mum today that it's just such a fun book to read because you can pick up and you read 2-3 chapters and you don't realize you've just read 2 or 3 chapters. You're just having an absolute ride. It's just such an accessible narrative, and it's done in such a way that's relatable as well. So when Evie and Kate are having the sister dynamic, they're having those conversations, it's an easy read and it's a relatable read. And I really do, I don't have a sister, I have a brother, but you understand that sibling nature as well. But I say it's a sibling, it's also a best friend thing, so even if you don't have a sister to compare it to, you have had those kind of conversations, that easy kind of dialogue with a best friend. And I cracked through it so quickly. I think I ended up reading it twice because I was doing the summary for this one for the podcast. I absolutely devoured it. I would love to hear a version of it, actually, and hear the dual narration take place.
Yeah. I think it's come out next year, early next year, I think.
Not sure.
The audiobook. I think there's going to be an audiobook. I'm sure I saw Aisling announce it, but I don't think it's out yet.
That would be amazing. I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, I agree. I've started to realize as I'm getting older, it can be that I'm super busy and don't get through a book quickly. But generally, if I haven't got loads of other things on, like it's the reading fast that is the real tell for me. And I just didn't want to put this down. I was like, rude that like work and life has to go on, and I've got to put this book down. I'm starting to realize that that's the real thing for me. How about you, Amanda? What did you think of the writing style?
Oh, I love the writing style of it, especially all the times that Evie breaks the fourth wall, which you don't see a whole lot of, but like it's just, and it just goes back to the diabetes. Like every time she talks about it, she's like, seeing it written down, it should have seemed odd to me, but I love that. And the same thing that you guys said, I agree with what you said too, but it was the breaking the fourth wall for me that made me just really fall in love with it.
Yeah.
I think anything that's bold, and again, like I said earlier, that feels different and doesn't feel like loads of people do it, I think it's really good. Because I think a lot of YA books, like we read similar books, authors, and we get kind of steered into certain directions. And I think this one just felt like it did its own thing. And I thought that was very cool. Let's see what the comments
Anytime anything turns to the camera and gives a wink is just absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
Yes, good vampires to slay and slays bad vampires. Yes, I feel like that's a good sweet spot for me as well. That's awesome. That's good to know, isn't it? That like adults who are voracious readers and people who are reluctant readers, I think that you can, it's a great book if it can like meet so many people's needs. Sink your teeth in class book. Well, definitely. You need vampire puns when you're describing vampire books. It's essential. Yeah, clean is exactly what it is. There's no clunky or unnecessary writing. It just feels like really tightly plotted. Yeah, I've bought it for a few people for a similar reason as well. Like, you want a vampire book? Like, here's one. It's also werewolves. Bonus. Yeah, I think that's the correct team. All of them mixed in. Yeah, I think that does tend to like vibe well with me, I reckon, because I don't know, I think you can often fill in the gaps, can't you, of like what a character will be feeling in these like heightened emotional situations. Yes, definitely. I think the humor is really hard, isn't it? That's another thing
completely agree.
Does really well.
Yeah. It's hard to put down because you're holding it with your werewolf hands.
Yeah, I mean, this is true. Everyone has to glue into a hand to read it, and then it's like, oh, I have a werewolf book hand now. So, what did you think of the twists at the end of the book? It got pretty twisty there for a second, like, and you know, like there's the kind of the fake outs of can you trust people, can you not, like who is on your side? What did you think? Did it get you? Because I was just like pulled along for the ride with that one. I wasn't sure whether I could trust Kevin, and then I was like, whoa, can I trust him? No, I can't. Yes, I can. Oh my god. It's such a ride.
Yeah,
like,
I can always trust Kevin. How dare you say that? You can always to Kevin.
Now, though, whenever there's a nice character, I do wonder if there's an ulterior motive, because I've read Cat Ellis's books. I know that these sweet people are often like, they've got dark hearts.
Yeah,
we know that, don't we?
But that's Cat.
The worst.
That is Cat. You can't trust Cat. I mean, you can, but you can't.
As a person, yes. As a writer, no. So yeah, I do. I often see sweet characters and think evil. Maybe that's just me. How about you, Claire? Did the twists get you, or did you see them coming, or what did you think of it?
I don't really think I was particularly shocked by the twist, because it was there. The signs were there. If it was one of these where I think if you'd read it if you hadn't the twist the second time round, you'd be able to see the pointers and go, it's good. But I wrote the summary for Big Bad Me for Fictional Hangover. So when you write the summary, you tend to take a little bit more of the book as well, because there's little things that get included that you don't want to have to then try and find the place to go back. Then send it into the summary to make sure that you do get the twist at the end that makes sense. So it didn't get me, and I know it probably would get Amanda, sorry to speak for you, because she sees the twists as well coming. So it was there, and we were just kind of, I personally was just waiting for it to be said, because he's going to be well. He's going to be well.
Yeah, I don't mind if I see a twist coming. Sure. If I love a book and if it's really well written and well done in kind of every way, I don't mind if I can see the twist coming. So yeah, I think I saw bits of it and not other like bits. How about you, Amanda? Did you see this one coming?
Yeah, I mean, like Claire said, we've kind of trained ourselves in reading books to catch these sorts of things, and something is going to happen. So it's hard. It's really hard to catch us off guard. I think I think there's only 2 books that we've read on the show, and one of them was just our episode that's coming out next week. That's the only 2, that one and Burden Falls / Wicked Little Deeds by Cat Ellis. Those are the only 2 that we've read where we didn't like see what was coming at all. So we've just trained ourselves, and it's hard to ask us questions like that, I think.
I need you to like live stream for me when you're reading Mina and the Cult, please. Like, can you tell what your predictions are? Because I'd love to know what you 2 think. I quite like it when people, especially in book 1, where people tended to say, oh, there's this character I really like and it's really sweet, and I'm like, okay, good. I love stuff like that. So yeah, please feel free to feed me your predictions, because that makes me very happy, and even if they're right, I won't mind. I will not hold it against you.
Okay.
I managed to get my editor with this one. She was like, oh, a few times I got a few comments where she was angry with me. So I think that's a good one. She was like, how could you? And then I did pull the wool over her eyes a few times. So yeah, hopefully there'll be some surprises in there for you.
I can't wait.
Thank you.
We'll do one of your reading sprints and read it for you live.
Oh God,
reading sprints.
I've done that before. Like when I go get you reading and they hold it up and they're like, "Look what it is! It's your book." And I've seen like live reactions to stuff. One girl was reading it and she went, and then I saw her messaging someone and she said she was messaging her friends like straight away to say, I know you've read this, like, oh my God, what do you think? And I loved that. I got to see the whole like shocked reaction in like, I think she just happened to be reading like a bit of the book where it was all kicking off. So yeah, that was very good fun for me. So did you have, I think Andreas has actually answered my next question, so I'm going to bring this up first. Favorite was the scene with little video Kate. It was such a heartfelt moment and felt true.
Yeah.
Did you two have a favorite moment or scene in the book? I know this is always a really hard question because as I'm asking it, I'm like, was there one for me? I think I always tend to like the really cozy scenes. I liked it when Evie and Kevin were getting to know each other and they were having like awkward, nerdy conversations of like where both of their social skills was slightly lacking and they were like drinking hot chocolate together and stuff. They're the bits that stick out to me that I really remember. Was there any for either of you where you're like, oh, that was a good moment, or you know, what really stands out to you?
It just goes back to the diabetes for me. I really, really appreciated that. And then when she finds out that she's not diabetic, and then she's like drinking full sugar Cokes that are drugged, or eating Oreos, or, you know, drinking this hot chocolate. I'm like, look at all these things you can do because you don't have diabetes. You're actually a werewolf.
Are you waiting for your news, Amanda? Like...
Yes, I'm like, I just want to do that too.
I will find a werewolf to go at you. Don't worry. I will find a werewolf for you.
Please. Except for no, I would much rather be a vampire.
No, you're werewolf now. You've got to go the Evie way.
No, I will pull these teeth out right now if I have to.
Given the choice, like,
go for it. Oh, we go for it. Come on, bring it.
You're right. I mean, clearly vampire's best, but where do human and werewolf rank? Like, you know, definitely vampire would be the choice. But would you go for werewolf if somebody offered you? Or would you say, actually, I'm kind of okay?
If the choice is between werewolf and human, I'm going werewolf.
Yeah, of
Human's
course.
just so human.
Unless you're like a human with, maybe you're like a witch or something. You're a human, but you have some sort of supernatural, extra normal ability. Then yeah, that's fine. But no, you gotta be something different.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons and you go through the character creator, and it's like the very last choice of what race you're going to be is human every time. Because when you're human, you already are human.
Yeah, nobody wants to be normal.
I mean, that's why we read and write these books, isn't it?
Right.
Like, the limitations placed on humans, we just don't want to be there.
Exactly.
Okay, good. So I think that is nearly the end of my questions. Let's just go to the comments and see what people liked. Yeah, I think that's lots of it, isn't it? But agreed. Like, there isn't really anything about this book where I can go, yeah, that let it down. I think it was really great all around. Yes, it's great. I mean, yeah, I can enjoy a book if I don't enjoy a twist, but if one gets me, it's very satisfying.
I'll tell you what was really good as a good scene was when Kevin goes bad Kevin in the werewolf clubhouse, and he turns and you think, hang on, he's being perky. I don't trust perky people like in life, but he's gone from this really nice guy and like to this absolute terrifying killer, and it's scary, and it was good. Like, you, as the reader, you're like, he's got something up his sleeve. He has to. It's Kevin. He's nice.
But you've always got that like Buffy thing in the back of your mind. No. Yeah. Sorry, I just talked over you. You had a little skip, and I thought you'd finish. What was the last thing you said?
No, it's fine. My head rubbish. It just shows you how good Ashlyn is at writing that character who can go from being all smiles and hot chocolate to dripping blood murder, and that was done so well. Like that is a scene that was a standout moment for me.
Well, yeah, he takes off his glasses and then he becomes a badass.
It's the Clark Kent Superman, except the villain version.
Yeah. I always liked the villain version of Clark Kent as well in Smallville. It's like the red kryptonite ones. Yeah, this is much better. Motorbike and leather jacket comes out. So yeah, I thought that was really good as well, because it still seems plausible. Like, Ashlyn just made you question everything, didn't she? That's good writing where you don't know what you can trust and what you can't.
Yeah.
Let's see what there's a few opinions about that. Favorite moment. This is not to count. I don't know what. Have I missed something? Oh, sorry. I think things that
Count the seeds.
Oh man, we love it when they count the seeds.
Oh yeah,
we love it when they have to count stuff.
It got Dracula. He needed to count.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to pull off some of the weirder vampire stuff, isn't it? And I liked the fact that Ashlyn went there because it's just like it isn't vampire mythology. Like it's always there, and when you read those books, like that's one of the kind of silly things. I love how it just like it's like slid right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? Because, yeah, I would say in Buffy, I'm Team Slayer, but slightly vampire, though. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to choose. I don't think I need to, like, I've pulled out Sesame Street. Like, we watch quite a bit of Elmo in our house, but I probably need to bring out Count Von Count as, like, I need to start the vampire introduction, don't I? 3's not too young for vampires, but... No. Kevin and I talk about vampires a lot. I'm sure Nathan's like absorbing all this as we're talking about plot stuff. He's just sitting there like, what's happening?
Surely you were the Count Duckula generation as well, Amy.
I was,
ketchup,
yeah.
blood.
You know what? Yeah. That might have been one of my first vampires, Count Duckula, I think.
Yeah.
And now I need to watch that instantly. Like, I don't remember anything about it. I feel like I should remember a theme tune or something, but...
I just remember Nanny the butler and Count Duckula.
I can picture Count Duckula, but I can't remember anything else.
Nanny, it was very DuckTales looking as well. You have to YouTube it, Amanda, because it's excessively British. Instead of drinking blood, he eats ketchup because there was a screw up in his creation.
Gosh. Okay, yeah, I'm on it.
That is so British. I'd forgotten that. Yeah, it does look like DuckTales. I'm just picturing it in my head, and I think I've just merged the two together, like throwing some like vampires into DuckTales. Yes, Teen Wolf is another good thing that makes you question whether werewolves are cooler. Yeah. Oh yes, I need to watch it now. That's the first thing I'm going to do after this. Although I'm also still editing. Deadline. My publisher said, "Can it be in today?" And I was like, "Yes, if you mean like 11:59 p.m. Sure, absolutely fine."
We believe in you. You can do it.
Thank you. I've nearly finished. To be fair. Werewolf love there.
I feel like we're betrayed right now with Coral because Coral is one of our super fans, and you're choosing werewolf. What happened?
Coral.
No werewolf shaming. Come on, like you're allowed to love whichever supernatural creature you love. Like
that's true. That's true. We don't kink
I'm not ever
shame.
gonna diss anybody for loving werewolf. I wrote a werewolf short story and I did start questioning things. I had lots of fun with that. Like the stuff you can do with werewolves that are a bit different, like vampires still seem to retain some of that human self. It's quite interesting to see the human just like let go and become wolf. I think that I didn't appreciate it as much until I read Ashlyn's and then wrote mine like at a similar time. Oh, yeah, Kev's 3. Kev's sorting the giveaway out now. So there's 3. The giveaway winners are being announced very shortly. We have nearly finished, so Kev's just in time. Yeah, I need to watch more of the Hammer horror stuff. I've literally just seen like little bits of it, mainly the vampire stuff.
Shocking.
Yes, you need to. Sorry in advance. I'm sure it hasn't aged well. Reindeers? No. And that is on my list of stuff to read. That is, what is it? Is she called? Cadis Knight. It's 2 authors, Jackie Sylvester and what's the name of the other author? Who's just written Good Girls Die Last. I always get confused because there's lots of Good Girls books. But yeah, they write these sexy books together. And I read the vampire one. Vampires in Moscow was really good. I need to get the other ones in the series. They're like, oh, and NJ Simmons, thank you. I'm so bad with names. I really, really liked the writing in the first one, and I need to read the others. And they're sort of very sexy, funny, action-packed, a bit like True Blood kind of feel.
Nice.
So we've got to the tricky question, recommendations time. So what would you recommend people read? Obviously, we need something more from Ashlyn. What do you recommend people read if they are Big Bad Me fans? I've already mentioned 16 Souls, which I think has a similar vibe of, although it's ghosts, it's the found family and like being a teenager is hell, Buffy type feel that they're going through teenage stuff and paranormal stuff. I think that's quite a close comp. How about you, Amanda? Do you have any recommendations?
I think my go-to werewolf recommendation is Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. Those have been out for forever, so I'm sure everyone's probably read them, but it's just great. I love everything that Maggie Stiefvater does. So Shiver is probably my recommendation there.
I don't think I've read that since it came out. Do I need to reread it? Like, has it stood the test of time?
I have a small obsession with Maggie Stiefvater, so I would say, yeah, of course you need to read it again. Should I use this hand because I can't make it? Can't make it.
You need to
take my hand, child. Take my hand. Sorry. I can't take you seriously at all.
Practice the werewolf hand. That's your homework. That's all. So we have some winners. So Sabrina, Kirsty, Emelina, you have won some goodies from Ashlyn. So message me. Ashlyn is sending stuff out directly, so you can have the goodies. And Andreas and Amelia, you are owed some goodies from Laura Stevens, publisher. So email me your addresses and I will get them to send you some signed character postcards from Laura. Some love for Shiver here too. Same here. I remember thinking it was really good when I read it in like Twilight era, but I don't really remember anything except werewolves.
Well, now you need to go back and read it again.
Yeah, I think I do. I'm sort of mentally adding that to my list for next year. Yay! I don't know whether we announced it, Andreas, because we had a little bit of it took me a while to find out from the publishers what they were actually giving away and stuff. So yeah, it may be that I didn't even announce it. So surprise, please send me your address. Oh yeah, I think I had to run up because I was dealing with not very well little boys. So I think it might have been me that cut the proceedings short last time. So Claire, do you have any recommendations?
I'm going to go nice and easy and go with Condara Blake's Buffy series, One Girl in All the World, and the In Every Generation. Because why not have some comfort read where you've got vampires and werewolves with Spike and some nice historical vampires.
Those are really good
Condara
books.
Blake is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, the fun books, and you'll devour them as well. So even if you're not a Buffy fan, you'll still get a lot of enjoyment out of them. So I'm gonna say, get some Condara down your throat.
Agreed. And the next one's coming out in April, so we don't have that one to wait because it's coming out similar time to Mina 3. We've realised that our trilogies are wrapping up, our vampire trilogies at virtually the same time. So hopefully me and Kendara will do something at least virtually. I'd love to do an event with her in real life at some point. That'd be amazing.
She is an amazing human being. I got to buy her lunch one day. It was very cool.
I was meant to meet her at an event and I was ill, and I'm so sad that I didn't go because she's not been back to the UK since, I don't think. But one day I will go and visit her, I think. I'm going to have to just do it. Do you mean Big Bad Me, or is that a different acronym, BBB? Have I missed something? Either of you two know? Or I don't know. And I don't know about Big Bad Me. Is this going to be a series? I hope it is.
Yeah,
I know that felt like discussed it.
Yeah, we thought that there were going to be some zombie shenanigans coming. Did we talk about that episode? I can't remember.
Yeah, we thought that would have been the set. That's like the setup is that there's looks to be zombies. But when we talked to Ashlyn on the podcast, we said we want a prequel story with Kevin's sister. Back in the 90s, where she might meet some other characters familiar to Mina, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the crossover would be there in the prequel, like the time period's correct.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy to throw Mina into any other 90s series that I love, please. Other authors, feel free to ask me to write my character. And I think me and Ashlyn could write a really fun book together. I would enjoy that.
It would be a fantastic prequel because I can't. What was the sister called again? I can't remember. Chris, yes, she kicked absolute. You can tell that when she was in the 90s, when she was younger, she kicked ass now. What would she have been like when she was a teenager and she didn't have, knees of a 40-year-old?
I feel like she probably would have been in the 80s though, right? Because didn't this book take place in the 90s? Why else am I wearing a flannel?
I can't remember.
I think it's in the 90s because the cover.
No, there's a mobile.
She's wearing a smiley face t-shirt and a flannel. Late 90s.
They have the internet.
I don't remember.
We need to ask Ashlyn. Ashlyn will decide this for us.
At the end,
early 2000s, maybe.
Well, the zooming with Phoenix at the end.
That's right.
I don't remember.
There's more back and forth because they call each other. Because Evie calls Kate at one point and says,
and they're getting text messages too all the time. Maybe it's early. Maybe
why?
Maybe it's early 2000s.
We wanted it in the 90s because we wanted Chris in the 90s to have a road trip with Mina.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So Tom Fletcher has written a werewolf book. What?
Has he?
I need to look this up because I didn't know that. I've been mainly reading Tom Fletcher. There's a monster in my book lately, which is distinctly aimed at 3-4-year-olds. Only for this book, werewolves. Okay. So Coral's redeemed herself.
I was worried.
It's going to be wrong.
It's fine. I wasn't sure, Kirsty. I was like, I'm really bad with acronyms, so I just wondered if I missed something. But yes, I don't know. I hope there is going to be. I don't know that anything has been confirmed as far as I know, but yes, I'm sure it's going to be great. And yeah, read Annie Kendar Blake. Oh, maybe a different Tom Fletcher. Is that not the same Tom Fletcher? I'm going to have to look this up now and to find out if it's the same Tom Fletcher or not. And on that note of whether Tom Fletcher is, secretly writing loads of vampire books and werewolf books, I think that's the end of our discussion. So is there anything I've missed saying, Kev? I think we've done all the giveaways. Anybody who's won stuff needs to message me. Oh, I haven't. I knew Kev would tell me something I've forgotten. This is the book we're reading in December. You better watch out, which I have not started reading yet. I really need to. But I've been on deadline, so I haven't had a chance to read it yet. But this is about a girl who gets sort of Secret Santa style present every day in December, and they start to get increasingly sinister.
Ooh.
So it sounds fun. It was voted for by the book club. So if anybody wants to join in, there's still time because, as I said, I've not started reading yet. And I've lined up an interview with the author. So that's going to be fun. Once I read it, I am going to get all the goss from the author, who is called Sarah Norton.
Nice.
Have to check that out. So thank you so much, everybody in the comments, for chatting. It is a different Tom Fletcher. Thank you for confirming, Kirsty. Excellent. Thank you. I think it does seem like the perfect time of year to read this one. Thank you so much, Melina. Thank you, you lovely too, for coming on. I think at this point, if any vampire book comes up, I feel like I need to ask you to come on. I hope that's okay. You've usually just already read them, because I think we're just mentally in tune, aren't we? A lot of our books that we've read this year have been the same ones.
Yes.
So yes, definitely. If you can always come onto my future vampire chats, please. And the same goes for Fictional Hangover. If you'd ever like me on to discuss vampire books, I will be there with fangs on it. Let me know when you start reading, and we can discuss. So yeah, we'll be here early January to discuss that book. I've got one guest confirmed so far, and I'm going to ask a couple more people over the next couple of weeks. But I think that's it from me. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, everyone in the comments. I'm going to go and finish writing Mina and the Cult. So I will see you all. Bye.
Bye.